Welcome to the CENJOWS podcast, brought to you by Center for Joint Warfare Studies, India's premier think tank for the defense and national security research. I, Dhruv Shah, am your host, and today we have the privilege of speaking with a soldier, strategist, and a scholar of the battlefield, Lieutenant General Devendra Pratap Pandey. Lieutenant General Pandey's distinguished career spans decades of service, with deep expertise in counterinsurgency operations and military intelligence. He has witnessed at first hand how intelligence shapes decisions at both tactical and strategic level, and crucially, where that translation breaks down. Today's conversation is exactly about that gap. What does intelligence looks like on the ground? What survives the journey of the chain of the command and the strategic uh, and what get lost along the way and why. So, very warm welcome to the CENJOWS podcast. It's a genuine honor to have you with us.
Okay, so Dhruva, you asked actually a range of questions. So what I'll try and explain to you. Firstly, look, neither am I an intelligence expert, nor am I what do you call, uh, I'm neither an intelligence expert nor I'm a counterinsurgency expert. I am a plain military man, an army man, who is expert in conventional warfare, right?
Okay.
Now, yeah, so now in this process, even in conventional warfare, you need to do roles of counterintelligence, counterinsurgency, and stuff like that. But each and every operation, military operation, starts from one word, and that is intelligence. And I'm not talking of intelligence of mind. I'm talking of intelligence of variety of types. And intelligence focuses not only about enemy. It's very important to know your own intelligence, your own capability, your own capacities. You need to know about the intelligence about the enemy. And when I'm talking of the intelligence about the enemy, it is not about only what equipment they have, what is the latest equipment, what systems they have. It is also about the people who populate their military. Whosoever is operating with us, an intelligence required about those people also, the soldiers, commanders, leaders, which place they come from, what is their mindset, where they are coming from, what are the challenges, are they high on morale or they are low in morale. The whole range of thing works. Are they divisible? Eventually, war fighting is just not about throwing slingshots over somebody or firing guns or firing missiles. It's also about mind. So there will be disenfranchised, disaffected people, minorities, majorities. There will be issues in that location which will allow you to not only gather intelligence information, which is going to be long term, middle term, and real time, right? So all these are required for intelligence gathering, and each has got ramifications. But besides that, you can use that intelligence and information to actually create division amongst those people. Also to shape the mind through a narrative, very cognitive warfare application, that you can change the mind of the people, of the soldiers, against their own commanders, leaders that are amongst themselves. So that is one part. Besides that, what is other intelligence which is required? You require intelligence of terrain. You require intelligence about weather. You require intelligence. So, you may, like Russians did. Russians carried out an
Hmm.
operation when they started the special operations against Ukraine. They took
Hmm.
a time, they chose a time to when the ground was boggy, right? So when
Yes.
they moved in, the large columns got all stuck along the road. So while when you make a plan of air landed operation. They made a plan by air landed operation, and they thought they'll be able to link up rapidly. But eventually, what happened? The plan of air landed operation failed, and
Yes.
the link-up which is to take place and the land operation is to continue to rapidly move forward to Ukraine. They could not move forward because the entire convoy of tanks, mechanized infantry, the BMPs, the guns, everything was strung along the road, along the highway, and they became a very easy picking point for the Ukrainian Air Force, their missile systems, their drones. and they continue to attack and destroy everybody, because the moment you leave the road, you get
Hmm.
bogged down and you can't just move away. You are sitting duck off the road, you are sitting duck on the road. So look, terrain, weather intelligence, all inputs make a huge difference. So there are range. Then another set of intelligence required, and that intelligence is about the friendly countries to us, the friendly countries to the enemy, right? What will be their posture about the neutrals? Will somebody turn against him? Who will provide technical intelligence? Who will provide the technology? Who will be managing the supply chain for ensuring
Hmm.
that the military industrial complex or the support which is required, not only in terms of equipment, but logistics, repair, maintenance, everything is working. Then you require, for
Okay.
example, in Operation Sindoor, right? While we knew, everybody knew, it came as a surprise to the media, to the people of country, that when operations were going against Pakistan, the
Hmm.
entire network of China was providing intelligence to them. About 81 to
Yes.
85% of equipment with Pakistan was Chinese. So,
Yep.
this intelligence is also required about friends of the enemy or the adversary with whom you are going to go to operate. Now, a very important player came during Operation Sindhu, Turkey. Turkey had
Okay. Right.
drone systems, they had other systems available. Now, one was not aware. We knew that Pakistan will be supported by Turkey, but how rapidly they came with their drones to assist, right? That movement was to
Yes.
be tracked. Not only that, they brought their own military personnel who were handling those equipment. So, Turkey was a neutral in this entire thing. It's got an engagement with us. We have embassies, they
Yes.
have embassies. Now, these two countries are technically neutrals. They're not fighting directly in the war or in the conflict, but yet they were there. So, this is there. Then the intelligence about your own people, intelligence about your own soldiers, men, officers, their orientation, morale, your own population, are they in support of you? How can we continue to achieve and ensure the narrative, the cognitive warfare that the people of our country are with the Indian Armed Forces? Rhetoric is a part, but today's warfare, which is available on digital media, at the same time, when an aircraft goes down, it is
Yep.
known to the pilot. In the same time, the pilot, when he's getting hit, is also known to the entire world. Your own country to the enemy country, to your own soldiers to the enemy soldiers. And a flight and a plane coming down is seen by everybody. So today, an F-15 was shot over Kuwait, right? And now
Hmm.
the F-15 falling down, the soldier, the pilots ejecting, everything was being seen and discussed virtually real time. When I say real time, there may be a lag of a minute or two over national and international media, and people are talking about it, right? So that is the level of intelligence which is required to be done. Now, what happens is that the issue which you have said, that the tactical intelligence and the strategic intelligence is a gap in between. What
Yes,
happens
sir.
is
So
these are the range of.
I mean, like people like me who are very much interested in intelligence. So they always hear this term like tactical intelligence and strategic intelligence. And since you have a vast experience in counterinsurgency operations, so yeah, so could you please tell us like what's the difference between them and how frequent you see the disconnect between two?
No, look, there will be always a disconnect, right? The
Okay,
disconnect will be in the time. The disconnect
time.
will be also in understanding. Now I'll tell you, Azhar
Sure.
Masood Azhar, right?
Hmm.
I think he's a guy who got
Jaise
picked up.
Mohammed Ghar.
Yeah, he got picked up while sitting in a three-wheeler in a very routine check, and he just got picked up, right? Now people realize that he's a terrorist or something. So the unit which picked him took him to the base. The police was told, and he was now being managed as a whatever as a captive. But the ramification, once he got picked up, started
Right.
happening in some manner across the border. There was some degree of chatter which was happening. Now, the
Okay.
chatter will not come to the company commander or the CO who has picked up, or the policeman or the soldier who's picked up Masood Azhar. This chatter will come to the top leadership at the level of higher leadership or higher intelligence setup which is there in the country. Now, at that level, for them to know that somebody has been picked up by us in India, or the chatter
Right.
which is happening about where, is going to be that large gap, because they are listening to something happening. Now, when they openly start asking, you may not even get to know at the tactical level. Now, this soldier or a company commander or CEO doesn't know that
Hmm.
he's got a high value target, a very, very high value terrorist in his control. But the strategic leadership knows, at the strategic intelligence level knows, there is a high value terrorist. Where is it is not known. So it takes some time for this message to flow. Now you imagine that if we had just checked the papers and documents, and after, because there's a principle of apprehension,
Hmm.
you see, within 24 hours, if you don't have anything
Hmm.
about the person, you have to release it. So you may have to release the chap. But then I guess something happened and things just got resolved. And eventually, in this
Okay.
confidentiality, insurgency environment, the message came down, there is somebody, and it came down very rapidly. And very rapidly, people started finding corner. And this guy was sitting in a cell in a corner, looking seemingly very, very small. And by the way, he offered huge sums of amount of money to get away.
So
Everything
he
was,
offered some amount of money to the unit.
yeah, you leave me and I will get away, and therefore I'll give you this money. So, but you see, the soldiers don't get lured by some stuff like this. And he was handled and kept as a prisoner, and within no time, this whole intelligence from below up and top down came and met, and they realized that the high value target was there, and he was straight away taken away at a level of interrogation which was required at the top. Right. Okay. So this is one example. Right. Now I'll just give another example at the conventional level. Right. At the conventional level.
Hmm.
What happens is that you notice some activity. Let's go back
Okay.
to, let's take this example of Kargil, or this thing, right? So
Ah.
at a tactical level, there's a routine activity which is done, and what happens is that over a period of time, it becomes a muscle memory. And
Acha.
when you're getting into a muscle memory for an activity, then the
Hmm.
challenge what happens is that when the change is slow in front of you, right,
You
you
do not
recognize
notice.
that what is happening in front of you.
Got it. Yep.
Second is when the tactical mind and even the strategic mind, it war games and war plays,
Hmm.
uh, it thinks and plans for a set piece of operation, that when the enemy has to come to carry out attack in a mountains, it will come with large force. But in Kargil, the enemy came in very, very small force. You realize that over last a decade or 10 years or 15 years or 20 years, both sides used to vacate, which were impossible to hold areas during high winters, where snow disallowed it to stay because of terrain condition, and it was
Yes, sir.
impossible to stay on top, and therefore you withdrew, and both reached out back in a similar time frame. And because you knew that in case he crosses, he can't sustain himself. And these are very, very pragmatic decisions. They are very thought through decisions. But what was not thought through is that there may be a time when somebody may be radical, right?
Hmm.
May take a risk of going in some conventional manner and occupy some post with intentions of staying forever, right?
Okay.
So,
So, like what we hear, like especially the मैं movies से मैंने जो देखा है कि whenever intelligence moves up the chain, some part of it gets lost. So, is the collection you just told about how collection happened? So, I believe it's mostly interpretational or in institutional communication.
And it's
Like when
both,
it's
because
both.
now I am there. Like I have come this year. I will go back to my previous experiences. So let's say
Hmm,
last year there were four activities. Last to last year,
hmm,
five. Last to last year, three. Now I'll draw a pattern. So today, this year, it was six. Fine. It isn't, it's
ah,
marginal difference. Or even seven is a marginal difference. Right. Now, when these seven, 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 which are increased by 1, 2, 2, 2, 2, is taken by
hmm,
respective headquarters, which go up, and then the chains which are there, the company commander, CO. There are about 7 to 8 interfaces where these information is joined and seen. So what will happen is
okay.
that eventually I will see and I'll say, oh, it's okay, it's fine, it's nothing very difficult or different. And eventually, to capture this post or occupy this post, he
Hmm,
requires not seven, but he requires 70. So 70
okay.
is not there, it's just seven. But when you look
Okay.
at in the same region of from four different points, you may find there were about 15 or 20 people. And those 20
Oh,
people thereafter become a threat. Now, that
okay.
was happening. Now, at the strategic level. So, this is how interpretation goes wrong. So, when your
Acha.
coalition, and this is what the enemy does. You look at the example of Israel, 7th October, at the tactical level, right?
Ah,
At the tactical level, for nearly 6 months, these guys
hmm,
kept on coming in smaller numbers, increasing smaller to bigger, to bigger, to bigger. Okay. And on the strategic level, they kept on conveying to the Israelis that they are looking for peace. The money is coming from Qatar, and Hamas is looking to stabilize, and they are no
yes,
more
yes.
threat. Their behavior is changing. So there were two paradigms happening. So what happens is at the strategic level, when the political leadership starts talking about everything is fine, things are going
Ah,
well, there is a peace, we are not looking to war, the tactical leadership also starts leading activities on the ground accordingly. So
okay.
eventually, it is not the activity which is counted up the chain. It is the analysis of the activity which is given by the ground troops, which is seen by up the chain. So you say, okay, last year, yesterday, they were one bulldozer had come. It came,
Hmm,
nothing, but it went back. They were all trying to show off. They are all doing the same. Now
hmm,
this drama continues for nearly 3, 4 months, 5 months, 6 months.
yes.
So now the new soldier who comes, he's told by the
Hmm,
previous soldier that this has been happening for this thing is nothing unusual. For that
acha.
soldier, from one dozer to second dozer becomes a not unusual measure, and this is
Yes.
where the intelligence actually breaks down. Right?
Oh, okay. So,
Okay.
sir, from commander's perspective, like the company's commander's perspective, what kind of intelligence actually enables better decision? Matlab, let's suppose you have been given a task and you require intelligence. So, आपको मतलब किस type का intelligence would help you much better?
So look, two type of intelligence don't tell lies. One is a tech
Hmm.
intelligence, right? So when a
Uh-huh.
radio set opens up, which was not there, when a radio
Hmm.
set is always open but opens up on a secrecy device, it's the
Hmm.
same. If there are five chatters which are happening, or when they go silent, both. So
Yeah.
silence and an activity, both are issue. But the most important, I feel, while tech int is very important,
Hmm.
technology, tech intelligence is number of, you allow yourself, the enemy opens a radio set, you can ID it. So
Yes.
now this radio set or this radar opens
Hmm.
up only when some activity is expected. Now, this
Okay.
particular radar was supposed to be somewhere in the depth area, let's say 100 kilometers, 50 kilometers, 200 kilometers. But now suddenly just come forward and got deployed. And in some brief moment to switch it on and off, right?
Hmm.
You realize the
Okay.
sequence is there, and this gets picked up. So tech can very rarely lie because these are unique IDs, these are unique signatures. We may look at five rifles as the same rifles, right? They are
Uh,
being come through the same factory. Thousands of bullets come out, each bullet has got something which is different, because when it is coming out, there may be some heat increase, decrease, grain missing, down, a finest of grain missing. The behavior of
Okay,
our
ballistic analysis.
ballistic analysis. So you see, the ballistic analysis of two bullets fired from the same weapon at the same time will come out to be different. The fingerprinting is different, right? So
Okay.
technology, when it is niche, good technology will ensure that it doesn't get, deceived. The second is naked eye. What is seen by naked eye? What, as an infantry officer, as a person from the ground, I will like to see to believe, right? And that becomes a
Acha.
very, very cohesive information. And the last is on a intelligence asset, as a human asset, which is cross, right? Which can be seen, which can give information, which over a period of time has become trustworthy. Even that also can. So even the human eye can be deceived. Your human asset across can be deceived. The tech can be,
Yes.
but all three at the same time may not be deceived.
Okay, so basically, you have three different asset and you just compare and then you draw analysis and then you take
Then
further
you
action.
then you give up. Now, when you are moving up, the challenge what happens at the tactical level is everybody is not experienced in it.
Acha.
Right?
Okay.
And in the border, what happens is there are changes which are happening, and
Rapid changes होते हैं.
that is where the dissonance, that is where the gap comes in. So when Dhruva is there, he's diligent, working very hard, he's understanding, he's seeing, observing, carrying out very detailed analysis. But when DP Pandey comes, he may not believe in human assets. He may not believe in his own eyes, but he will say, if I listen to Tickent, I will believe. And then it
Okay.
becomes a doubtful. Okay? And that is where your analysis start going wrong. So you have to keep on looking very, very deeply, because enemy will always do to lull you in believing that everything is normal, either by incremental increase or by hiding the movement which is happening behind. Right?
Okay. So, sir, like we have seen the recent operations going on in Iran and Israel. So, what do you think happened there? Like, what Israel did for like past few months? Yeah, क्या उन्होंने ऐसा देखा? Because sir, recently Prime Minister Modi ji visited, and the moment he came back, we got to hear the news कि operation starts going on. So,
So operations are not planned on the visits happening and stuff like this, because the visits are planned long time back. The Prime Minister
अच्छा,
Modi's
okay,
visit is not planned. चलो कल चलते हैं और इजराइल में होकर के आते हैं लोगों को. People will be deceived. It doesn't happen like this. The diplomatic engagement, the countries when they meet each other, they interact.
hmm.
These are political, geopolitical engagements which are planned far, far ahead in time. Right? They don't happen.
Like a year or so.
Yeah, maybe 5 months, 4 months, but the talks happen
अच्छा,
a year ahead also. So,
अच्छा,
Israel is not the only country the Prime Minister visited. He's been visiting almost every country.
yes, yes, yes.
Now, the decision to carry out a strike on the day it
Hmm.
was done has got to do much more with intelligence, right? The
Okay,
intelligence was that today Ayatollah Khamenei and his top leadership is going to meet at so and so place. And there's once in a lifetime that you get an opportunity to strike. Oh, by the way, talks are ongoing in Oman. People have gone to Geneva, right? There are discussions going on.
yes,
And therefore, that was, it was a 10 days talk. So
हाँ,
the strike happened on the ninth day. Another day
yes,
is
yes.
there. There is the Omani, I think, foreign minister or somebody had already come out that Iran has agreed to roll back its nuclear enrichment or
Yes, I saw that news. Yes.
so this whole discussion is happening back and forth, but yet it had to go through on the morning of 27th, if I'm 28th morning, right? The strike
Yeah.
happened. For the Israelis, it happened. Iranians happened at 8:50 in the morning at the same.
Yeah.
Now, so there's no connection. People for political purposes may try and make connection with the prime minister's this thing. And will Benjamin Netanyahu or Trump tell Prime Minister Modi, "I'm going to go for attack tomorrow"? I don't think so. And even if he does, it will remain a very, very privileged information only between the two of them, maximum between two NSAs. It will never be
Okay.
shared, right? But it is highly unlikely, right? Highly
Okay.
unlikely, well, I'll put it on to a matter of impossible. Because when we struck in Operation Sindoor, we
Uh,
we have informed something may happen, but timeline date will not happen. So it was
yeah.
not that Iran was surprised, right? Okay. Surprise is that when you don't know attack is going to come, Iran
Yeah.
has known for last 30 years an attack will come,
Okay.
right? It is
So,
so it is not that yes, but it will come tomorrow or after 30 years was not known.
but you never got
So
it.
when Lion Rise happened,
Hmm.
that point of time, no, but that was the biggest surprise because that time Israelis were totally consumed with Hamas, and it was strategically um, a risk which they took to also engage with Iran. So when you are handling one enemy, you should never get after the second one. You should be smart to finish one and then get after the second one. So there, Israel is deep inside this thing, but yet it diverted affair for 12 days. And see, Israel eventually got hit also, right? Second is now after that hit, Iranians
Hmm.
still knew that because of the Ayatollah Khamenei's strategic posture, right?
Hmm.
Americans will come after them. The only challenge in this whole gap was that Trump has shown to be a person who's not going to militarily intervene in any operation. So a lot of people
Okay.
look at Venezuela. You see,
Hmm.
Venezuela was done when entire leadership below Maduro was compromised.
Yes.
So it actually was a
Yes.
walk-in option. They just went in, and there were Cuban security
Cuban
guards,
bodyguards.
very few of Venezuelans. You
Yes.
imagine he didn't trust the Venezuelans, and they just
Hmm.
came up with thermobaric weapon. They neutralized everybody. They didn't have to fire any shots, and they just walked in,
Yeah.
picked up
They
Venezuela
they just went in and gone back.
in just about 25 minutes. So it was not technically a war or a conflict. It was something like, I'll say, kidnapping operation, right? In kidnapping, that
Hmm.
is that kidnapping in which the family is complicit, right? They will come, open the door, and they'll tell you, okay, this guy out from here, right? So there was
Okay.
nothing which was against. So that uh, cannot happen with Iran, right? Iran has
Okay.
to be
So,
thoughtful.
sir, in this Iran, Israel, and even in the US Peninsula, a lot of modern tech was involved, be it in intelligence gathering or the operations. So, sir, do you feel that modern intelligence systems sometimes prioritize volume over speed? Sorry, volume and speed, because tech are made for speed. So, do you think that modern intelligence systems sometimes prioritize volume and speed over judgment and context? If so, how this balance should be managed? Right?
Yeah. So
If
look,
you can.
look, context and judgment are different from volume and speed of intelligence. We should never mix. Intelligence
Oh,
is a diligent process. It starts the day one. The day I receive a message from Dhruva on on LinkedIn, my mind
mm,
starts going, is it a fake number or not? Who is this guy?
okay,
Because you see, I'm on social media. There are a lot of fake, a lot of people who reach out to me for incorrect engagement. Right.
definitely,
So you must have seen my
definitely.
response. I did not share your number. I shared my number only yesterday after having spoken to General Ashok. Right.
Okay, yes, sir. Yes.
So, one has to be careful. So the first thing I gave
Yep.
you was my email ID, which is not my personal email ID, it's an official email ID.
Okay.
All my
Got it.
banking is done on something else, but this is on which is I interact
Something
with
else.
all others
Yes.
on public domain. So that is where your starts.
Okay.
Then, firstly, intelligence is not 5-day process. Intelligence is a always happening process. So,
Acha.
fingerprinting of equipment,
Hmm.
knowledge of equipment, what has come in the container, like from lion rice till
Hmm.
December end was a time of about 6 months, right?
Okay.
And in last 2 months, not much has come from China. So now the Israelis, CIA, their local assets in the Gulf countries, NATO countries, the Five Eyes, everybody is observing not only Iran, they're observing
Hmm.
China se kya nikla, what has come out from China, what has come out from Russia, what has come out from the other countries, what merchant vessels have gone on a different flag from different locations to different, but they are now landing on the shores of Iran, right? Then you
Hmm.
trail back. This is size. This is a container. What is coming out from them? What is the next? So there's a whole set of fingerprinting, IDing which is being done. So now
Okay.
Chinese HU9 uh,
Hmm.
uh, LRSAMs have come or not? Have been deployed or not? Where have they been deployed? What is the range? Uh, I'll give an example like in Kargil. In current
Hmm.
operation of Operation Sindoor. Their
Hmm.
PL-15 missile, right? So
Yes.
PL-15 missiles known published uh, knowledge was 150 kilometers, right? But
Yes. No knowledge.
they had used a tweaking of a system in which they were able to get additional 40 kilometers.
Okay. Information warfare.
No, not information warfare. It is hiding your
Like, yeah, hiding the information and then just
precise
not
Chinese
public.
system is that it is 150 kilometers. But the hidden
Ah.
capability is actually 190 kilometers. So when I take off and I stay away from the any of their systems, you can fire PL-15
Hmm.
at a distance of about 160 kilometers, and I think I got a cushion of about 10. And oh, by the way, I can run back and add another 10, right?
Hmm.
But when 190 fires, then the reach goes, right? So,
Okay.
the intelligence is very, very intelligent. Now, intelligence, not only, so if once I've seen HQ9, I know its range is 260 kilometers. So I'll fly it about, let's say, 200 or 250. So I can get away well in time when I'm flying a stealth bomber or I'm flying any of the air fighter aircrafts or I'm flying this.
Yeah.
And you'll be able to get away. But if you have not invested time to know that what other changes are happening in HQ9, you may get surprised by a 300 or 350 kilometer range.
Okay. So like
Yeah,
uncertainty factor you have to count in.
content, but you have to continue to find what changes are being. So there's not only one equipment. There are thousands of equipment, starting from a sniper, from a rifle. So while a ballistic missile or a air force may be able to strike a depot, an ordnance factory, or
Hmm.
a ship or a port, but in case the enemy is having uh, what you call, let's say, INSAS, and INSAS
Ah.
range is 300 meters, and you are
Hmm.
and the enemy has got INSAS, but you don't know that the enemy has changed his weapon from INSAS to some other weapon, or he's
Hmm.
carrying a sniper. So you'll come within the range and get shot down. So from smallest, from vehicle, from transport, from road, what is the road width? How much time does it take place to move from forces to move from one place to another? What is the air transportation system? What is the logistics system? How many trains can move at any one point of time? What is the cover? What is the AD envelope they have got to protect their entire transport system? All those things form part of daily intelligence. Every minute you are gathering intelligence. Now, this is about enemy's equipment intelligence, the enemy's strategic intelligence. What is going on? Will Khamani couple
Hmm.
will buckle or not? How much you have to put up pressure? Should I keep on saying I'm going to fight? So it may happen that he's polarized. Or should I play good and bad this thing? He may reconcile and may change his posture. Will I want to go to war, or will I achieve the success without going to war? After all, our aim is the Americans' aim is that you don't go for nuclear weapon, you don't go for ballistic missile system, right? Can I change that? So you have to know about his mindset, his hardline, his religion, his advisors who are close advisors who are advising him. And without that knowledge, you may not be able to take a decision. So it's a very, very hard working process in which speed may only add to certain degree of confusion, but when required, speed is required. Right. Now, how context changes? Context changes that in line rise, they knew the location of Khamenei, but they didn't strike him. The Israeli assets inside struck and killed more than 20 to 25 main top leadership and commanders of Iran. They took out large number of ballistic missile systems. They took out all radar systems. They took out the nuclear this thing. But they knew Khamenei where he is. They knew where the president is. Over the next 12 days, they knew where they were moving, but they didn't take out because context was not right. If they had taken out Khamenei that time, it would have showcased that the diplomacy was not used to convince Iran to come to the table and change the thing. But the context changed. Yeah, you had to create a justification to go to war, that you had 6 to 7 months of deliberation, discussion. And after the discussion, now when you go and strike, then you say, look, Khamenei closed the door, we couldn't help it, we had to go for it. Oh, by the way, 440 kgs of uranium was lying them 60% enriched, and they can make a bomb in after 3 to 4 months. And whom they will bomb? Not only Israel, they will also bomb the Gulf countries. So now we are coming on behalf of the larger region to take out the leadership, which is so understand. So context is different, right?
So, sir, like the context we are talking about. So, if we see like Israel Iran, context is totally different because Israel is entering Iran. But since you have experience in counterinsurgency, so there how context becomes different, because if we talk about countries, diplomacy comes first.
Okay, I'll tell you context depends on how. I'll give an example, live example. There's a terrorist called Manan. Manan. Manan करके ऐसे I don't remember. Let's say there was an external. He was very, very what do you call? He was educated. He had university education. He was technically not a terrorist, but he was carrying a weapon, and he was forced to actually join the terrorist group. He was with Lashkar-e-Toiba. He did not believe in the ideology of Lashkar. He shifted to HM, wanted to shift to HM. Those guys took the weapon away from him. He shifted to HM, and then he had got a weapon from HM. Let's not get the story. The context is that we had the intelligence, right? So now he is at a one place, and it was a month of Ramzan. Okay. Now in month of Ramzan, the intelligence came to us when the fast has to be broken, and we were told that he's in a proximity of where about thousands of people are gathering, somewhere near in that area in the hideout, right? Okay. Now in that place, the leadership which had to do an operation, right? They were not aware of his personality, the way he operates, because Kashmir is a large area.
Yes.
So everybody doesn't know the nuances. So there will be one young leader who is aggressive, who knows something, but there's one leader who knows what are the issues that are involved when you take out a. So this chap was a cerebral client. He was celebrated by local youth. He was respected by the people. So now context. There's a terrorist. I need to take him. We need to take him out. Now, should you take him out is an answer which I think Dhruva can give.
Okay.
So will you go in for an operation? which may result into firing, which may result into about 10 to 15 civilian casualties, or you will wait for the next time?
I believe I will wait for the next time because
Answer the
civilians casualty is there.
So eventually, 3 times it happened, the information came to me, and he was
Hmm.
right to be taken, but every time there was some issue.
Okay.
So, but you have to be patient about it. The contents eventually is killed. He was killed in a place of our choosing, where he reached, and thereafter he was replied. It took about half an hour, and he was killed. So context, time, place, uh, when is it happening? Everything matters.
Okay. So, sir, what I see that when, like, whenever
So
commander wants to,
intelligence collection and
hmm,
and prosecution of operation both
hmm,
require patience and maturity.
patience. Okay. So, sir, as intelligence increasingly incorporates advanced technologies and automation, because we have AI right now, and everything is getting. Do you foresee in further widening the gap between tactical realities and strategic interpretation?
No, look, I will just talk of what happens is when you rely, technology is there to stay. What happens is technology allows us to synthesize information, analyze it, and give us the product and carry out even future projection of what is the intention of this intelligence picture which is now emerging, right?
Hmm.
Which cannot be processed through uh, human minds, because human minds are also fallible, because your attention span is very high when you come. The change of rotation has taken place. Now when I come, it takes me time to warm up to be at the top level. So if the information has come
Right.
when I have just come in, I may not be able to understand, and the information is coming when I am going out, I may slip out on the information. But technology has got nothing like high and low. It is like flat. It gets the information, it analyzes dispassionately without getting tired, and puts out not only what is the view, what is the analysis, but what also is the future projection. Then he will tell you. The AI will not tell you that this force which has come at so and so location has got options of moving along this road, along Y road, along Z road,
Hmm.
or can also take the route of helicopters or air force to come and manifest itself at so and so location, right? And by the way, this is the time it will come. The Air Force has got this capacity, civilians have got this lift capacity. It's got about 1,000 trucks there, 1,000 men have to move, and this is how it will happen. All this can be done very quickly by a AI model or a tech model. Okay,
Okay.
but what is what goes wrong? What goes wrong is
Uh,
spoofing. What goes wrong
uh,
is that tech also can be defeated. What also can be done is
yes.
that it can cyber issues can come in. You can be fed
Yep.
wrong tech information, right? So you are totally relying
Right.
on this thing. So technology is also fighting against technology.
Ah.
So what technology you
Yes.
had yesterday? Uh,
Hmm.
I am working to improve upon the technology to beat the technology. Now, which loop you're caught in becomes relevant. And therefore, you have to be always staying ahead of technology to understand. Otherwise, if you are using old technology and you have been spoofed, your reactions will go to a longer, wronger direction. And now all this from the tactical realm go also to the
Hmm.
strategic realm. And the information which comes from bottom up and to the
Hmm.
strategic commander is also different.
Hmm.
So you'll find dissonance, that my information which I am seeing on the ground may be something else, but the information which is coming from diplomatic environment, from other
Hmm.
agencies, from other countries, or what the views and perception of the senior leadership who may not have served in
Perception.
this
Yes.
area, who may not have
Yep.
been here, they may not even trust your judgment. There may also be a view that this guy is unnecessarily hyping up the condition. वहां पे ऐसा कुछ नहीं. For example, like in Kargil, Brigadier Surinder Singh kept on saying that I don't have enough manpower. Right? But you know, the problem was he may be saying, but Indian Army also did not have enough manpower.
Right, everyone was
not
involved.
provided enough
NCC
manpower.
was also involved.
So you know there are challenges, and those challenges at the higher level may ensure dissonance for the information or the challenges coming from the tactical level, and it is both ways. So the higher level may have information; they may give you that information. I'll give you again an example. I was a GOC of Kilo Force, and I had information, a tech information, right? That the terrorists are going to be here at so time. I exactly had that.
Okay.
But what happens is when too much of a tech information is given, which is not duly analyzed for its capacities and capability, and when it fails once or twice, the soldiers who have to walk up into the mountains, into the jungles for 5 to 6 to 10 hours to prosecute that operation, when they reach there and they don't find that intelligence to be credible, then what happens? Then they start disrespecting, not believing your intelligence.
Okay.
Right. So one is that. Second is there's always dissonance in some. I believed in tech intel. I also believed in human intelligence. But a company commander or a CEO who's just come new, right? He may not believe in the technology tech intel, or he may not believe in my human intelligence. He may say, I believe in my human intelligence.
मुझे मेरे sources पे भरोसा है.
Yeah, correct. ऐसे होता है, obviously. There's nothing wrong in it, and this comes with experience because, fortunately for them, I had served much more tenures there, right? So they should have believed. So in spite of believing, when they moved up to that place, that belief was, I will say, oh, okay, you know, take it. So they were slightly casual, and when they reached, they had a firefight. They were lucky enough to survive, right? Because the terrorists were on top and these chaps were going from below. So if they had believed my information, they would have come from somewhere else from top down and take on the terrorists. But they did not. So, you know, when you're talking about strategic information going down to tactical level and not being believed, it's not कि only नीचे से ऊपर जाके believe नहीं होता. It is both ways. So these are personalities, there are challenges, there are failures in intelligence-based operations, and I can tell you, intelligence-based operations also fail. Right? They fail many times because we only talk of successes, but we don't know how many times you have tried to achieve success. And when you're climbing jungles, you're carrying out operations, when it's snowing, when is weather, the terrorists may have just slipped out before you came. Or maybe the tactical operation was slightly delayed and they were stepped out. But what is the effect? The tactical commander doesn't believe in the higher level commander's information.
Okay, so disconnect happens. So sir,
it was
based on your
the tactical
experience,
commander, yet he will not believe in the high commander's information.
got it.
Yes.
Got it, sir. So based on your experience, like what principles should future military leaders, because I also aspire to be a lieutenant, leaders should keep in the mind to ensure that tactical intelligence is translated into meaningful strategic insight rather than getting lost, lost in the way.
So, firstly, the at the tactical leadership, they must be vigilant. They must observe smallest of change or even the smallest of routine activities and report in a steady format, because my way of reporting and observing may be different from the second. So that should remain a constant, right? That is how you'll come to know exactly the temperature is going up or down or is going gradually up. The second is the staff. You see, before the strategic leadership, there are layers of staff through which this information is processed. They must have an experience, hands-on experience, to understand what goes. And everybody must understand that context changes, month changes, terrain changes, weather changes, color changes. And you have to keep all these things in mind while carrying out analysis, and the analysis should always be very intelligent. There always must be a recommendation, a, a feeling
Okay.
that this is the information which has come from my three sources, and my
Huh.
analysis is this, and we should ignore it, or you must commit it. You should not remain neutral. And that is how it should get processed onto top. No piece of information should be allowed to be slipped through at any point of time. Because with experience,
Okay.
I can only tell you, and you can ask any other senior officers, when information comes to you in large clutter, right, you can just pick up. Your father, when he'll be checking your papers, he will actually, the moment you'll open the page, you'll be able to pick out the anomaly and challenges in your paper. Whoop, and he'll say, ye galat hai.
Yeah.
Okay? So that comes through extreme amount of experience. So you require experienced people to actually contribute to, and then there should be back and forth. This experienced people must also go on to the ground and see how changes are happening. What type of officers or soldiers form the people who are getting the intelligence?
Okay.
Right.
Like interaction with the ground forces.
Yeah, because if I know Dhruv, he's ignorant, or he's proactive, he's hyped up, or he says, oh, it's not a big deal. You know, everything is dangerous. So if I know
Yes.
he hypes up after having been there, then I will view it with that perspective. I'll not jump up with every information. And if I know that you'll underplay a threat, then I'll view every information which comes with caution.
Okay. So, sir, thank you. And just one last question for the day. What advice you would give to young officers and analysts working in intelligence role today, like whether be it in the MI or the Air Force One or the civil intelligence agency, on bridging this tactical and strategic divide effectively?
Yeah. So firstly, actually, there is no divide per se, because same young officer is also assisting the strategic commander in analysis. Because after all, the strategic commander is not working alone. He's not sitting alone and all information which is coming to him and is working. So same young officer with 5 to 6 or 10 years service is in the brigade headquarters or in the strategic commander, right? So people are same. The value of information which reaches at level becomes strategic, because at a ground commander, I may get information, right? It may come from front from 5 sources, right? But when 100 people like me give information above, where information from raw, from IB, from diplomats, from external agencies, from foreign agencies, everybody comes to that person. So he has a larger information. But information is information. It may come from anywhere. Now it is the analysis which changes at that level. So strategic information will come that the Iran is becoming intransigent and not going to believe and follow the path. So that what is happening with Ayatollah Khomeini and his group of people may not be known to the radio operator who's carrying out a check of signals and movement of IRGC columns.
Yes.
Right? But IRGC columns are moving from one place to other on the direction of the higher leadership, and therefore that information counts. So that is enmeshed. My only advice is that this intelligence requires huge amount of, it is far more tougher than launching an attack operation personally. So diligence is the most important facet. You need to read all about others, right? I've explained to you kiske baare mein batana chahiye, the earlier. And the third is that you must analyze every information which comes. And then in case of any doubt, you must also write the questions that I need to get further additional answers from the forward commanders or from the higher commanders, because intelligence is information which come from top and also from below, right? It's a back and forth process. You must document information, right?
Every information which is coming in should be documented.
Every piece of document has got value. Right now, you may use AI, you may use computing power, you may have applications to carry out analysis. But if you're not documented, you will not be able to analyze. So you need to document everything, and it should be always simple. The best intelligence is the simple intelligence. The intelligence which stares in your eyes is the one which you ignore, because you're always looking for the complicated ones. So there is nothing called complicated intelligence. Intelligence comes knocking to you at your door and says that use me for operations. And most of the time, we ignore it because it is so simple, so straightforward, so intuitive. So be diligent, document everything, never ignore anything, carry out analysis, always have a recommendation, because that allows you to commit.
Okay. So, sir, thank you. This has been an extraordinarily illuminating conversation. The insights that you have shared on how intelligence is gathered, how it is traveled, and where is that risk being diluted or distorted are not only relevant to military professionals, but anyone who deals with the information under pressure or uncertainty, like the journalist. What strikes me the most from our conversation today is human dimension at the center of all the intelligence work. Like it would be always be there. So it's not simply about data or systems. It's about judgment, trust, and courage to speak the truth to power across every level of organization. On behalf of CENJOWS and indeed on behalf of all our listeners, I want to express our deepest gratitude to you, sir, Lieutenant General Devendra Pratap Pandey, for his time, his candor, and his wisdom today. Thank you so much, sir. And for our listeners, if the today's episode sparked your thinking on intelligence, strategy, and decision making in the complex environments, we encourage you to explore more of the CENJOWS research and do subscribe to CENJOWS podcast on your preferred platform. Until next time, thank you.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.